Morning, everybody. How you all doing? It is the 2nd of May, 2026. We're doing things a little differently, as you see from the attire. We have the crew from Rant&Rave on today, later on, to recap the NFL draft. We'll talk about the Supreme Court decision as it continues to gut the Voting Rights Act of 1965. We'll also discuss the redistricting fight that has ensued. And um, the continuous pain at the pump. You know, we'll talk about the declaration from the president that the war in Iraq is terminated. I don't think we're seeing that right now, but we'll get to that. Uh, I want to start by saying though two things. First off, I'm sorry, Rashi will not be with us this morning. Unfortunately, she had something. She had some technical difficulties. She's trying to work that out. Secondly, I am this is yesterday, bought about a day. I did not think was going to come. I thought that prayers, my hard work, my effort would have been rewarded in the state of life. But obviously, something has gone astray. For over a month, I've had a laundry. Bought it from Sam's Club. It was on sale. I got a problem with sales. I'm an addict. Help me, please. My lawn guy, I've been calling him. Like, Doc, when you coming through? My amigo, when you coming through? So, my lawnmower's broke, trying to get it fixed. Okay, look, you can use mine. Not just to cut my lawn, but cut others. Keep your business going. I'm not trying to slow you down. To borrow from Rashi's lexicon, the man treated me like a $2 hoe. He left me like I ain't been putting $40 on the dress. I only been leaving 10. I had to go out here yesterday and cut my own damn yard. What the hell is going on? I feel disrespected. This is some bullshit. I'm like, dog. I pay people for this. What is going on right about now? I'm out here pushing and pushing and pushing. I had to put the goddamn thing together. I'm fucking on YouTube trying to find a video to figure out how to put this joint together. It is a mess. Straight mess. I feel 100% disrespected. Is my money not good? Is my money not green? Do you not have faith that I'm gonna pay you? I paid this man every week, well, every 2 weeks, on time, all the time. I never took nothing away from this man. I made sure he got his Luciano. Why you gonna leave me like that, bro? Why you gonna leave me? I don't do work like that. I was in the Air Force for a reason. That's physical labor. I'm not used to stuff like that. What's going on? I don't know about you, Thomas Berry, but I applaud those who cut lawns. That's some bullshit work. That's some bullshit work. And along with that, this week I've upgraded my phone. I went from the 24 to the 26. Fuck y'all iPhone people. I don't give a damn. I hate the damn iPhone. It's a piece of shit. Say what you want to say. Argue with your mom. So yeah, I upgraded from the 24 to the 26. Now that's a damn endeavor in and of itself. But I'm slowly but surely going through it, making sure everything is Karen and right and all that type jazz. So they about to steal my money. Matter of fact, I need to pay that bill. Paying with my credit card versus coming on my account. But yeah, they're about to steal my money this week, and it is what it is. It's cool. Ain't no biggie. What's going on with you, TP? What's happening, family?
Oh man, bro, I'm just waiting on spring to really show up here. But I can't start the show today without saying happy birthday to all 87 of my cousins. Kidding. Who had
87.
all my cousins who had birthdays yesterday. It was a lot. And I
Oh,
just wanted to say, happy birthday to the family, whether it's Aikisha, whether it is Stephen, whether it's Mike, whether it's D'Amica, and I'm leaving some other names off. But happy birthday to all of you. Love you. I wish I could have I didn't want to hang out with the ladies, but I wouldn't have mind being in this past yesterday to really celebrate because my cousin Keisha, man, is just I just love her, man. She's she's exactly like her mother, just a loving, caring black woman who is married, a devoted wife, Christian, sister, mother, auntie, and
That's
just like
what's
your mother, man, you can't get no better. But with that being said, how about them Cowboys? Huh?
man. Screw them Cowboys.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. You know,
Screw them Cowboys, dog. Look, I ain't gonna be mad. I ain't mad at you, dog. Jerry made some good moves this draft. He made some really good moves this draft. It ain't over, but he made some good. He made some good moves this draft. You
he
know,
tried.
we can really delve into this when the ladies come on.
Yeah,
Paul Franklin's coming on, the producer of the show. This is the first man that put me on television.
okay.
So
Well,
I always pay homage to Paul. He's the first cat that put me on television. It was crazy. That whole experience, crazy. I remember it to this day. He called me. He was like, "Yo, why don't you come through and be on the show?" And I was like, "Awesome, that's what's up."
right.
And we did it, and I was like, "Man, I did not know I talked like that." It's so many different things that you don't see about yourself that the camera will bring out, and it was cool. Oh God, Jamar, please, bro, please don't do it. So you psychotic like this, man? You know them damn Cowboys ain't gonna do nothing this year that they ain't done last year, the year before that, the year before that. They gonna get your hopes up before December, and late December, all them hopes is gonna come crashing down. You
Now
know what I
listen,
mean?
man. I felt that way last year when we got rid of Micah, but I will say this much: I believe that the Cowboys are going to benefit in reverse from the Schottenheimer curse on San Diego. And what I mean by that is
The
that
end of,
San
in the,
Diego,
the end of division draft.
well, just remember
I mean,
San Diego
well,
has not been
right.
doing well since they fired Marty. Cowboys have not been doing well since we fired Jimmy, and then we hired Marty's son because Marty has now
Okay.
passed away. So we got some good omen on our side. And I will say, for the most part, you know, when it comes to the Cowboys, you know, here's the thing. We have had our issues, but I do see us going about building this team this year a lot different than how we built our team in the past. And I do feel like this offseason has been more about football and less about just talk. So I'm happy about that. But let me say this, because I know people typically come in here and they want to hear some other stuff. We'll talk about sports later, but
Yes.
before they get in, let's talk about the Supreme Court
Hold
because
on, hold on. Before we do that, let's talk about the death of my favorite airline.
oh,
In memoriam,
the white people soul
I
plane.
have to say goodbye to old ye faithful Spirit Airlines. Now, I don't give a fuck what y'all think or what y'all say. Spirit was the shit. You get on Spirit. I done flown Spirit to Puerto Rico for $100 round trip, goddamn it. There ain't no airline out here gonna give you that potential to fly round trip to Puerto Rico for $100. My little sister grabbed her. She had never been to New Orleans. Both of us, New Orleans, round trip, $134.62. I remember it like it was yesterday because I was like, God dang, both of us, not each, both of us, $134.62 round trip.
Right?
Now, I don't know about you, but I'm gonna miss that mofo right there. That was old ye faithful. You hear me? My pockets are hurting just thinking about flying in the near future because everybody gonna raise their damn prices because they can. The competition has been eliminated. Hopefully, I hate the fact that I'm about to say this out of my mouth. Hopefully, Frontier is able to stay on.
Whoop.
If not, they'll be absorbed by somebody else. I'm thinking and go from there because Frontier actually does have a very nice international loop, much more expensive than I believe Spirit was. So we'll see about that. But yeah, that hurt, dog. That hurt big time. I I hoped it wouldn't happen. The the shareholders rejected a bid for their merger. Biden rejected a bid for them to merge as well. So it got tight. They were getting themselves together, coming out of the second bankruptcy, recalled pilots and staff.
Right.
Looked like things were going well. God damn, this war came along and raised up gas prices, and
Mm.
jet fuel skyrocketed. They just couldn't handle it. It was a one more blow that they just couldn't take. I think Allegiant would have been gone long ago, even before they were bought out by. No, they bought Sun Country. I'm sorry. I think they would have died though had the government not come in and had them flying the freaking ICE detainees around, to be real with you. I think that was a huge injection into their pockets, which gave them some moxie to go out and buy somebody else. But
which,
boy,
which is the opposite of what these conservatives say they want when it comes to capitalism. See,
mm,
see, that's part of the issue that you have when government interjects itself into business, especially when it's a level of corruption, right? And Jamar is right. It's bad for customers. The prices, are going to be gone. The bigger airlines are just going to charge more, and it's going to the airlines are going to go back to the rich. And I want to say this, and I tried to say this respectfully. I'm gonna say it again. Before this last election, I was saying, remember how angry white men are. And I want to just point to the things that people were bragging about they were doing online before this administration got in, and look at all those things that are going away. All of the things that are components that made Black Girl Magic, they are attacking. Remember, we catch flights and not feelings. You want to catch a flight now? And
mm,
keep in mind, most of you are addicted to traveling, by the way, because it's became your persona.
nah, no.
And that's going to be one of those things that's going to be hard for some people. They're going to go through a bit of depression because they can't catch flights like they used to. And if they do, you'll just be there eating a bag of peanuts because you won't be able to include those other things. The second thing they went after was jobs. Well, they went after jobs first and foremost. And look at what they did to Black women across the country and the fields that Black women are dominating in, which are great fields. They went after that. And I say that to say, and hear me loud, I'm not blaming Black women. I just want to make sure, because you gotta qualify these things, that you're not blaming Black
Because
women.
you will get canceled.
There you have it. But we have to look at it from the vantage point. That's the attack. That's what they were attacking. The things that would make those who support the Democrats comfortable, they went after, and they're knocking off those things. And this is a very great political lesson for us in this lifetime. And we are among oligarchs and robber barons. And what you're seeing with Spirit and them knocking them out, that's a part of the robber barons, because Spirit did not participate in transporting those illegal immigrants, or those immigrants, or whatever they want to call these people, you know to make them less than human. They did not participate in that transport, so you don't get the federal dollars, right? And then we'll say, hey, we gave you money, but you will not also say you've also increased the rate of fuel by attacking Iran. And so you've also, by giving it to them, you've also taken it away, because who can afford that jet fuel now that you went into this illegitimate war, unauthorized war,
Oh,
by the way?
it's not a war. It's a conflict. So because it's a conflict instead of a war, I don't need the authorization. I don't need the Congress's authority for war powers because there was a break in hostilities. You can't say that it's continual 60 days. You have to give me some more time on the other end because there was a break in hostilities. But you still maintained a blockade in the Strait of Hormuz. You still threaten folk every day about bombing their civilization to nothing. You still threaten. So I don't but that don't count. That no. I was just tweeting. That don't mean nothing. I was just on True Social. I was it was 3 o'clock in the morning. I was eating some McNuggets. My fingers got stuck to the keyboard there. So no, it doesn't matter.
Well, and that to me, I feel like that's the ugly side of it. And we're seeing this across the board. We're seeing this with healthcare. We're seeing this with SNAP benefits, where some states, like we had, Angie Craig here inside of Minnesota, who voted against being able to pay with food stamps, if you will, rotisserie chicken. And I'm
Yeah.
like, why would you? How bad is it that you guys don't want people to be able to afford what is affordable at the store? You don't like junk food? Guess what? Make healthy food more affordable, because people are buying more junk because that's what they can afford. It's in that dollar box aisle. And let's be real, you're not giving them a food stamp increase to offset the prices. You're costing them more food. Same thing with the pump. So to me, um, I just feel like, and I said this to you earlier, and I'll say this to the people: we are not our ancestors, because we're dying quietly, and
Mm.
spend our time online shouting and arguing with each other, being finding people to be disagreeable with, versus getting out and doing things to offset these things. And I'm going to tell you, if you are supporting their friends, i.e., Zuckerberg, i.e., the people at Amazon, at Apple, and all of these other places, and we all do it. And I mean, I'm talking about doing it out of luxury versus necessity, because some things you have to do based off of necessity. Some people just have monopolies. But we are feeding this beast on a continuum. And what our ancestors would have done, and I'm talking about those folks in the 60s that we squandered away all of the gains that they gave, and all of the things that we said they wouldn't have to, they wouldn't be able to hose me down. Well, guess what? They can take from you without even biting you in the ass with a dog. They can take from you without hosing you down. So just imagine what kind of person you are compared to the people that they had to put the hoses on, that they had to sick the dogs on. You're worse. You're a coward. See, they ain't even got to fight you because they know the coward ain't even gonna fight back. Ain't no hose for you. Ain't no dog for you. I'm just gonna distract you, and I'm gonna have you online fighting for 2 weeks over two celebrities that don't give two flying figs about you.
Are you talking about Clay
I
and
yeah,
Megan?
yeah,
What in the hell going on? First off, I
yeah.
am so distracted from the no because I had no idea. Well,
Which
I did see the story that they broke up, but all the rest of this crap that's going on. What? So allegedly he cheated on her.
I listen, bro. Megan the Stallion is the age of our children. That is not
Mm,
our purview. That ain't got nothing to do. Like here's the thing, and I want to say this respectfully. I don't condone black men harming black women, and I don't condone black women harming black men. Now, with that being said, as a grown ass black man that is trying to get my corporation off the ground so I can hire some of you and some of your children, it is not my business to focus on celebrity gossip. Let's start there. If I was a working black man trying to put food on the table, it is not my business to focus on celebrity
celebrity gossip.
gossip. Now, if it's my child and my child is going through a breakup with her boyfriend because he cheated on her, I would tell my daughter, come let me holler at you. This is a part of relationships. It sucks. Your stomach's going to be whatever, whatever, but let's go ahead. But this idea that anytime any black man does anything, it is a litmus test for us all, needs to stop. That has to stop. The idea that everything is a test of what a real black man is, when many of you don't even have a relationship with your father, your uncle, your baby daddy, the dude that you were sucking off in the backseat of the car, whatever the case may be. To be constantly lecturing us about what a real black man is, that is problematic. The second thing, brothers, don't fall into this Kevin Samuels trope. It's easy to
Mm,
criticize these women all day long. But just
mm,
remember, we only know the snapshot of women that we deal with. because we
That
don't
you
date
know.
all women.
Correct.
And don't become a vicarious hater, meaning don't start hating all women that you haven't had a chance to experience. I can't tell you what it's like to date a Meg the Stallion. I've never dated a Meg the Stallion. Maybe I have. But even if I have, I don't know Meg the Stallion. So there's no need for me to talk about Meg the Stallion because I don't know that sister. And I'm going to be real with you. I'm rooting for her to win. I'm rooting for Klay Thompson to win. I'm rooting for black people to win. And even if
Like love to win.
man, and listen, what black love to win, and even if they are flawed human beings, which we all are, here's a cold piece. I'm hearing women that we know who have cheated on their spouses talking about men cheat. I'm hearing brothers who know that they love a good whore talking about whores. Like, listen, at some point, we got to chill out because women love men who cheat and brothers love whores. And if we don't stop lying to each other on this white man platform, because we love to lie to each other. It's a constant lie that we tell each other. And then you want people like myself to get into the argument. And I'm like, y'all both wrong. Because you love a hoe and you love a cheating ass dude. And that's why y'all at the clubs together because he looking for the whores and you looking for the married man that you can sleep with to sleep with him when you know he got a wife. So I don't want to hear from none of y'all.
So I'll say this. We talked about this a little earlier in the week. I had this conversation last night too. I think we're out of alignment.
Super.
To your point, what we have is folks that get suckered
Super.
and become child adults because they have children. Now, as they get older, children get older, obviously, God willing, the creek don't rise. They start to look for the fun and the excitement that they missed out on in their youth.
Mhm.
The opposite side of the equation is the person who tends to be least responsible for the direct care of the child, has gone through youth and had that fun and that excitement.
Mhm.
So now the one half approaches late 30s, early 40s, early mid 40s, and is ready to sit down, sit back, settle in. The other side is approaching 30, 40s and is going through another phase. I'll use the word another phase because now she has freedom and she's trying to get back some of those years that she's lost. I'm not saying this happens with everybody. I'm saying this happens a lot. I'm saying this is something that is amplified more often than not. So now you have cats, dudes, again, mid 30s. I'm sorry, mid 40s, early 50s, who are really ready to land, settle down, and make some things happen. And yet you still have women whom are enjoying themselves. There's nothing wrong with either part of the equation as long as we accept the fact that that is fact. What we should not do is abandon one another because it's not going the way we wanted to go in that season, whatever season it is. There are plenty of folks out here whom have gone through the similar season as you, and you just have to find them, and you have to be open to them. And that may mean they're not right around the corner. That may mean they're not 6'2". They may be 5'11". If you're 5'1", I don't understand the problem. That might not mean that they are from the gym thin, but if you ain't from the gym thin either, I don't understand the problem. Yeah, I think we put up too many barriers again, just unnecessarily that separate us. That doesn't even scratch on the other surfaces. Like right now, you got a Dallas jersey on, I have a Ravens jersey on. You got folks that are like, "Oh, I can't deal with you." Are you serious right now? It's a freaking football team. It's not that damn serious. It's not that serious. You know. Then you have folk whom, well, I went to this school, you didn't go to that school. You know, okay, what does that mean? They're just so many barriers that we put up unnecessarily when dealing with one another, and none of that shit matters. Are you going to take care of me? Are you going to allow me to take care of you? Can we life together? You know, will you stick with me when the shit hits the fan for whatever? Will I stick with you when the shit hits the fan for whatever? And because the shit is going to hit the fan. You know, life happens to us all.
Right.
Somebody's going to lose a job. Somebody's going to lose a parent. Someone's going to be involved in some type of incident or accident. These things are going to happen. It's how we deal with one another in those times, through those times, and on the other side of those times. That's the important. Are we really there for one another, or are we really there for the gram? Are you just there for the pictures, or are you there for the work?
People are
That's
there.
the question.
Well, I think the main thing is that we are reflective, and this is across the diaspora. When you look at Black folks, we are a reflection of the people who colonize us, the attitudes, the permeates. And when I say the reflection, it's not an attitude that our colonizer has about themselves. It's about how we think about each other. And a lot of times when we're having these conversations, you know, it's a complete struggle across the board because we don't necessarily see value in one another anymore in ways that we once have. And with the conversation that I'm talking about that took place last week, what I saw across the board was consistent devaluing of Black men. And then also on the other side, devaluing of Black women. And I'm saying I'm not for neither one of it. I don't think that any of that is suffice. I don't think that there is one Black woman I could see on a video on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, etc., that will make me give a litmus test towards Black women on what a real Black woman is. And I would
Mm,
and ask for the same grace. And I want to say this because people took my words and twisted when I said that Black men need decency, they need jobs, they need to be having the right protections under the law as everyone else. Then we could talk about mental health. Then we can talk about, prayer and worship. And someone says, "Oh, well, that's a contradiction because you said, what can we do to protect Black women?" Let me explain this to you because it's pretty much a part of that protection. If a man cannot be his best self and he's drowning, all a person can do when they're drowning is pull other people down with them. And you got to allow people to become their best self. What I've noticed is that we don't protect each other and pump each other to be our best selves. We learn to be just like the colonizer, speak to each other like the colonizer do. Like when I hear all Black men need therapy, right? Because they're violent or they got tendencies of violence, what I hear is super predator from Hillary Clinton all over again. Because when you're telling the world that brothers need therapy, they need self-regulation, that means that we need more policing, that we need our ass whooped more in the streets, we need to be shot down more in the streets, we need to be in jailed more. And you may not feel like you're saying all of those things, but guess what you're saying to the oppressions? That's what
mm,
you mean. That's what you're now imagine if that is coming from the women that is supposed to be the opposite of Black men. And you're saying this, and if you think that I'm joking, and if you think what I'm saying is different, when the white dude was accused of killing a sister inside of Tanzania 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, was there a call by Black women online who date white men that white men need therapy? Was there
nope.
a call from Black women online who date white men saying that white men are a danger to Black women? Was that a call? And I asked that question because Clay Thompson, if the rumors are true, right, he just cheated. If we're going to tie it to Virginia and we're going to tie it to Louisiana, those men were going through some type of psychosis for sure. But what do you have when you have someone who does something? What are they? What's sociopath type move where he engages the girl, takes her overseas, and then kills her? He doesn't need any type of psychosis help. And so I'm just saying to us as black people, when you see what's happening going around the world, especially with government, this ain't the time to be online reflecting your colonizer, talking about each other in colonial ways, saying that
Mm.
we need things that we do not. And it's respectfully because I don't want to just put it off on sisters, even though I seen because a lot of the brothers I just got those roaches off my timeline. But the sisters, I'm gonna start getting you off my timeline too, and you're gonna go in the batch of roaches as well. Because a roach is a person that all they want to do is eat off of the crumbs that's on the floor. They want to eat off the misery of our people. Because typically when you drop that crumb on the countertop, you want that crumb too of the cookie. You want all the cookie to go in you. You don't want the cookie to drop. Oh hell no! Somebody with another Baltimore. Hey dude.
Yes.
Oh,
Mind your business. Mind your business.
try to.
I don't know what happened to Jackie. I wanted to. I was trying to get you all up at the same time, but something happened. She fell off for a minute. Morning, Teresa. What's going on?
Hey, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, good, good.
Okay. Welcome. Uh, Definitely wanted to bring you and the rest of the crew on. I know Paul's about to jump on in a minute to talk about what you all have done, the documentary that's forthcoming. There's Paul. Documentary that's forthcoming. What up, Coach?
Hey, hey, what's going on?
I'm well.
Hey,
I'm well. I'm well.
Paulie.
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing, man? Long time no talk to you.
That's it. That's it.
All right.
Jackie,
Hey, my
morning.
girl.
Morning.
Grand
How are you
risings,
all?
grand risings.
I see the shirt.
Oh,
I
she
see
got
the
a
shirt.
shirt.
I actually have a picture of she and I together.
Ray,
She was
baby.
wearing that shirt. Hey, Jackie, don't be doing that now. Don't
Oh,
look
Ah,
you ain't little no more. You know what I'm saying? It's too early in the morning. Don't be doing
I'm
that. This is
emotional.
a PG show. This is a PG show. Good Lord, have mercy. You know what I'm saying? Anyhow,
Hi, Miss P.
look, Paul,
I miss you,
Jackie,
Teresa.
Teresa, morning to you. This is part of the crew of the Rant and Rave on IC Color TV. My man Paul Franklin put this thing together some years ago. He's the very first person to put me on television. I always say that. Thank you, Paul. And you all have a documentary forthcoming. When do you all come on to talk about that? The NFL draft was last week, so I had to get you all on to talk about that so we can discuss that. Even though we got a Cowboys fan, don't pay attention to him. I don't mean we own the Cowboys as they know. You know they know what's going on when they play the Ravens. You know what I mean? It's just one of them things. That's what we do. But more into um, about what you all did. First off, commend you ladies on what you all did week in and week out. Y'all showed up and showed out. The stats were on point. The commentary was on point. It wasn't all glitz and glamour, lipstick and eyelashes. It was very, very good work. It was in depth conversations. It was good interviews. It was a great time. It was a great time to watch. It was a great feeling. And I'm very appreciative of the groundwork that you've laid for other people, for real, for real. It
thank you.
wasn't, I know it wasn't easy. I know it's a lot of time that most people outside of this sphere don't get to understand. But let's start with from the beginning. What brought the concept together?
Let me take this one, ladies.
Oh, you was gonna take it.
So, in the very beginnings of Facebook, I would be out on Facebook and I would see Teresa commenting about football, right? And I would watch the roles reverse. It would be guys getting all emotional because she was spitting out facts and they couldn't handle it. And she'd be going back and forth with it. And I'm like, if they would just shut up and go pay attention to the facts, they'd find out she's right. And her comments weren't based on whether or not he had on tight pants or some stupid shit like that. No, it was based on the stats. So the only person who I'd ever known in my life that took care of sports or really knew sports like that was my mom. I'm the youngest of five boys. And so it was like, that's all she had. She had 6 men in her house, and she just fell in line. And, my mom was a huge sports fanatic. So anyway,
Okay.
Teresa reminded me of that. I then said, you know what? I want to bring her specifically on the show. And I said, I got to figure out a way to, create it. So I took the idea to my wife. And I said, Celeste, how do you think I should approach, this girl? I said, I went to school with her years ago. I said, but I want to try to get her to come on TV. Celeste was like, why not just do a whole show with women? I mean, just right off the bat, that's the first thing she said. I was like, boom. I was like, what in the world? Yes. And she said, yeah, just have all women on the show. I said, but I've never seen that. She said, so what have you never seen?
There you go.
And so I was like, let's go with it. And so I had auditions. Now, the key was, how was I going to get Teresa to the auditions, right? So I kept making sure I put the auditions out in the Poly in our high school chat box on Facebook. And I just kept looking to see if she saw it. And she saw it. And then when she did, she was like one of the first or the second person who did it. And so we did the auditions, and the rest is history.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So since he started with you, Teresa, what interested you about doing it?
Football. That's all I needed. It was talking about football, and I could focus on the Ravens. I'm not going to act like I know all the stats of every team there is, but I watch every game. Pre-game shows, I watch the, halftime commentaries. That's how I know so much about other teams, because I don't just watch the Ravens. I work with people like, you stayed up for that game? It's football. No, but the Ravens, I'm done after the Ravens. I can't do it. I love football. So I'm just learning that he wanted just me. I didn't know, but it was.
Oh, wow. Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. I'll take that.
I knew it was all females, and that was another thing. Like, okay, other ladies loving football. What is there not to like about that concept? So the best part was most of the ladies I'd already known. So there were bonds that were already there. And I was nervous. If you look at the bloopers, you'll see.
Oh, yeah. Look, I remember.
Oh, my God.
There was one, you was like, oh.
Because I kept messing up. Whatever it was, I can't remember. And Sharice was on me, or Jackie, both
I
of
got
them,
you,
I
Jackie.
think. They say it. When he say roll, I still messed it up. I don't know what was going on, but we were having a ball. And the concept, I thought, was just amazing. Not because it was me, but all of us, everybody had different things that they did. Jackie won an award. It was amazing.
Nice. So, Jackie, speaking of your award-winning performance, morning lady, how are you? What brought you into the concept, and when it made you want to join the team?
Paul, it was me learning about football, where Teresa was in a house of all boys, Paul was in a house of all boys. I had 5 sisters and 1 brother. But because Teresa was so knowledgeable, I wanted to learn. So Paul developed football 101, not 1-on-1. That's what she used to mess that up all the time. And
really,
I'm telling the truth, right, though. And it was me learning about football. I watched the Ravens. I would ask questions about, okay, is that a touchback? Oh, is that just asking questions. And I learned from Teresa, which had Paul established Football 101. So I would take notes before each program to help other women and some men, if they didn't know, about football. You know, what does the quarterback do? What is the defensive end, and what is the tight end? And, you know, and sometimes it did get, for me, sometimes it was like, okay, I like the tight pants. Come on. I did. It wasn't, okay. You know how men act. Well, women have a little,
that's right,
bit of that too. So, but yeah, Paul developed Football 101. I was learning and teaching, so it was beautiful.
Yep.
So what did you win the award for? Remind us.
Paul has to tell. I still have it. I wish I would have got it out because I'd have had it all on the screen.
She won for segment host, best segment host of that segment. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that was going on. You know, the beauty of it is I don't even remember how we all connected. I really don't. But somehow or another we connected. Was it at oh shit. Was it at Casey's at Bird?
Yes.
Bird?
Was that Bird?
Yes.
Birdland Grill. Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah. Because Casey and I have a history, and I think I just tipped around one time, and you all were in there, and I was like, "What's going on?" And then I started tuning in, and obviously we had conversations, and it went on from there. So that was a good look. But so the run was how long?
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah, 3 years.
Okay.
3 seasons.
Good run.
Right.
That's a good run.
Yeah,
that's
one
a
of
very
the
good run.
Out of the 3 seasons, I think that was all right. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And there were some other hosts as well. Unfortunately, they were not able to join us this morning, but that's okay. You all have put together a documentary that's coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, the documentary is about all of Icy Color Live TV. It was a total of 13 different shows, over 300 and some different episodes of shows that were produced. There were live events that were streamed live. So again, I just want to celebrate the network as a whole. And it just so happens that Rant&Rave was the highest rated show that we had out of the whole network over the between 2008 and 2014, which is a 6-year run. But Rant&Rave was definitely the highest rated, most watched. It was the best show we had.
The bread and butter, huh?
Absolutely.
Will there be any controversy revealed in this documentary?
No.
Okay.
That's not. This is about celebration.
Okay.
It's not about controversy. Even though I thought about it, I was like,
you
know what? I got like 1 or 2 people who I was like, what would be funny, but I don't know if they would get it. If they would call it Survive and Rant and Rave or something like that. Survive and Icy Collab afterwards. You know what I mean?
I was thinking about you and Mike Baisden.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Michael and I actually were cool. What he wanted me to come to Miami and produce a few episodes for him while he was on his boat cruise, and nobody else could figure it out. I actually agreed, and I said I would come. Jermaine and I, we would do it for free. Do you know this dude didn't want to pay for our airfare and hotel while we were there? So not only not doing it free, but he wanted me to pay to get there and get myself back home. And I just didn't do it. And that's when me and him, when we parted ways.
Oh, wow.
Rightly so.
There was a little drama.
Yeah. I mean, because he was being.
That's what I was talking. I wasn't talking about any personnel stuff. I was talking about that.
Yeah, because he was working through ABC, and I'm figuring ABC got enough. Disney, they should have had enough money. Because believe it or not, nobody else could figure out how to do it. So It was like wanting me to tell them. I was like, no, I'm not going to tell you how I do it, but I'll come do it for you. And like I said, was willing to do it at no cost to them. Right. I mean, but you got to get me there and get me back home. I mean, yeah.
And put me up, right? At least.
Right. At least.
Thomas, you got any questions?
No, that just blew me away. That whole piece. No, I'm serious, man, because, it's it's amazing how when we have resources, how stingy we are with each other. And you spending somebody else's money, and this is gonna save you money, and you saying no. You should have been like man, listen, I'm gonna get you your airline ticket. I'm gonna get you your board, your food and everything else, and I'm gonna make sure you get there comfortably and get back to the airport on time. And do you need do you need a hotel room for your stay? Like, but
Right.
I will say this, in putting things like this together, how is it like dealing with the different personalities? Because I can tell by the two ladies here, there's different personalities. Jackie seems like she is a handful, right? And Teresa seems like she's very laid back and chill. And then Brother Paul seems like he's just the coach. So,
Hey.
Coach, how do you deal with those different personalities and making
Well, it was 4 of them, so there's 2 more out there. Yeah, so you had 2 more personalities.
He talking about these right here now, baby.
One of the blessings I would say of being the youngest child is that you learn negotiation, because I lived in a house with 6 other people and couldn't whoop nobody ass in the house. So I used to get in fights when I was in middle school, well, junior high school, a lot, because it was the only place I could get some wins. I couldn't get no wins at my house, so they said, "Why you fight all the time?" I need a couple wins. I want to feel good about myself. But in my home, I learned to negotiate and how to deal with personalities or whatever to get what I had to become really smart that make them think they were thinking of something that I wanted.
Right.
So that I've been able to use that throughout my life. And I think the key to it all is listening. I think I do a very good job at listening to what people say, not just hearing them, but listen to what they say and, then negotiate from there.
One of the good things, this man, you could tell he has an art for what he does. Mm-hmm. He started out with a teleprompter. That was a no-go because the work. No, it was not working. It was not working, and he was like, "Okay, stop. What we gonna do is, I'm gonna ask a question, and y'all just go." Because I'm sorry about that. That teleprompter was not it. It was not working. I never used that before. Never. So he did away with that, and then we got so much better after that.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
What about you, Jack?
No, go ahead, Jack.
Paul has patience. We cut up. We did cut up. We cut up. And what Thomas said, Teresa is just as bad as I am. She just knows how to conceal hers better. I've always been the one.
She ain't lying. Don't do that. Don't act like
I've always been the one that's been told I don't have a filter. And sometimes it'll come out of my mouth before I say, "Oh, you shouldn't have said that." And that's what I say after. So, but it was just like Teresa said, we knew each other, and it was like sisters. You have that good sister, you have that bad sister, you got that, it being with 5 girls, I'm the baby of the family also. So I was used to getting my way, so I manipulated. That's what I did.
You and Paul.
Huh? And then we were, what would you consider, Paulie's Angels?
Yes.
That's why you see that the little symbolism of the women.
Ladies, right.
It was like we were Paulie's Angels. So we work with Paul. I mean, I know me and Teresa. It was awesome. I loved it. If we could do it again, I'm right there in the front doing my 101.
That's what's up. That's what's
up. 101. Not one. Okay, I got you.
Jackie, what's your favorite memory?
Hey, Thomas, you picked up on that and kept that, didn't you?
Hey, man.
What did he say?
This is what we do.
Like you did.
This is what we do.
This.
My favorite. I loved everything. The bloopers were Very funny. But I loved everything. If like I said, if I could do it over again, I'm there. I am there.
Teresa, what's your favorite memory?
Yeah, go ahead, T.
I actually have a whole lot, but one of the best ones is Paul thought he didn't have any bloopers until he found his own. He found his own. We did I might get another one. But this was Tamara's. What is it? The 3-4 blitz. That
4-3 blitz.
See, I knew I'd mess it up. That was when we brought viewers in as guests and we played a game show. And I forgot her name, but she was from the Steelers. Man, she tore us down.
Yeah.
She tore us down.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was not only just behind the camera, but he brought out things in us that I would have never. It would have never left Facebook. I'd still be going one-on-one with people trying to tell me, because I'm a girl, I don't know what I'm talking about. Paul brought out, and we all had different jobs. So coming together, if we couldn't get together there, he put this piece together and that piece together, and it all looked like one. It was wonderful, every bit of it.
And for me, my favorite, believe it or not, was working with Teresa's daughter, Janae. I absolutely love and adore Janae because she was at that age where she hadn't come out of her shell yet. And it was just wonderful watching her and trying to coach her to get the confidence to come out of her shell. So I start trying to teach her how to produce from behind the camera, and then watching her learn and grow. And then I slowly just got her where she would come in front of the camera, and she was so shy and so innocent. It was just lovely. And I really love working with Janae and watching that where, she became Miss Making Moves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Making moves.
Yeah.
She didn't get that shy and innocence from her mama. I don't know where she got that from. Anyhow, what do y'all think about? Let's talk about the Ravens. What do you all think about the firing of John Harbaugh? Right move, wrong move?
No comment for me.
What? No comment? You can't do it. You can't whiff on that.
I already did it.
Okay.
So I really don't know what to think because I feel both ways. I didn't see it coming, right? But I'm hoping that it's something that Lamar wanted. That's my hope. Because if it's something that he wanted, then that means he'll still be all in, all invested into moving forward with the Ravens. Right. If he was not involved in the decision, I think we're going to have the next 1 or 2 years until his contract, I think it's going to be rough. I think just because he's the key to everything. He's the key to everything that we do. And our draft says that they're trying to look out for him. So I'm hoping he's happy. So more so than John Harbaugh, I'm saying, was Lamar involved in the decision? And because I'm thinking long term, how are we going to move forward?
Okay, so come on, Teresa, let's go. Harbaugh, should he have gone or stayed?
He should have been gone. So I don't even care. The thing is, I think Lamar saved him a couple of years because Harbaugh inherited an already talented team. I know people who work in the organization, so the personality conflicted. The organization didn't want to pay people, so people leave. People leave. You can't be in a locker room and talk to grown adult men and expect them to just sit there and take it. They're going to give you that feedback. You're a man too, so you're supposed to be able to handle it. But I think at some point, we were doing the same thing. You get to the show, but you can't dance. Get to the show, you can't dance. What is that doing?
Right.
What is that doing? And the whole staff, really, You look at Hard Knocks. What do our coaches do? Because if you know that they need 3 yards for a first down, why are you lining up back here at the 6 or the 7? Because he gonna and you didn't look at that film and say, come on, dude, you got to prevent that first down, not give it to him and then I don't care how many tackles you get, prevent that stuff. That's your job. None of them seem to be position coaches seem to be talking to these people, and when you look at them on the news at the practice, everything's fun and games. No,
Hey Thomas, was I
no.
crazy or what, L? Did I get one or what?
You got a girl when she knows, I'm listening to her talk and she's really into it. And I will say this, I thought about, I love football. It is my religion.
I like that.
So I agree with Jamar about the Cowboys. I don't know if she got to love the Cowboys, but she got to love me for loving the Cowboys. But, I would say that when I listened to the talk about Harbaugh and the team, a couple things that came to mind to me was that the team seemed, after Ozzie stepped away, to not find the right pieces. And sometimes the coaches can be blamed, but when I'm looking at the defense, it's not the same Ravens defense of the past. They're not drafting those Ravens type of guys.
Nope.
And then also, I felt like, this is my 2 cents, the loyalty to the tight end. I keep forgetting the white tight end.
Mark Andrews, who should have been gone.
Because Mark Andrews screwed that playoff game up twice. And if he did not fumble, you win. And if he caught the pass for the 2-point conversion, you win. And I always look at those two things, and then you guys let the young guy walk away.
Isaiah
Likely.
And likely should have got the contract, and you shouldn't have re-upped with Andrews. Andrews should have had to walk because he's longer in the tooth. This other kid is more dynamic. He's more skilled. And so sometimes what happens in football, just my 2 cents, and this just being a Cowboys fan that had to ask, why did we keep Jason Garrett for so long? It's the loyalty that I feel like happens between ownership, certain players, and certain coaches to where they're gone too long. And they don't have that tolerance for black coaches or black players in that.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was ownership. I think it was Harbaugh. And the loyalty that Harbaugh had to him was detrimental to the team. I said when he came back from the previous year and he made that mistake during the playoffs and he was having a great year, that was the year to trade his ass. Even if you just got another draft pick for him, I don't care. He needed to go. At that point, offload him, like you said, keep Likely on payroll, give Likely the money you just gave to him. Now you have a solidified, bona fide vet at that spot that's younger, that you can now draft pieces around younger, pay them less. Now you have a succession plan. Not only that, if you look at what Harbaugh did to Teresa's point, you get to the dance, but you can't. You get to the, but you can't dance. Too many times did we get there, but we couldn't get over the hump. And I can't say that was the players. I have to come to a point where that has to be the coaches. The coach's decision, the way the coach viewed tape, the way the coach game plan, yada yada yada. It took him too long to get the pieces around Lamar needed. It took him too long. He was still I think he was still OD'd on the Joe Flacco thing where he wanted his pocket passer, boom, boom. That's 2-3 years in Lamar's career that were wasted trying to make him into Joe Flacco. He's not Joe Flacco. You should have let Lamar be Lamar from day one and roll with that. Once you saw what he came with his first season, okay, let's put some pieces around this cat that really opens it up. Now he's even more dynamic, and you have a better chance at winning early on. Because again, those 2-3 years that they lost on the front end, he will never get back. He's sustaining injuries now. He should never have if we had utilized him the right way on the front end. Boom. Lastly, I'll close with this, and then I'll let you all jump back in. When you see the fact that players did not want to come back to Baltimore when Harbaugh was here, But now you see players coming back. Calais Campbell came back. Um, guard from that we got from New York went back to New York. Now came back. John Simpson, he came back. I think they actually have a chance to get Clowney back if they want Clowney back. Can you imagine the motors now on that defensive line? But that all opens up because that dude is gone. To your point again, I think it's his attitude and his approach. Remember when Ray retired, he cleaned the locker room up. He sent all those vets away. He got rid of all of them. Got rid of why? Because his ego was that he needed to be the head man on campus, and he wasn't when Ray and
Ed Reed.
Ed was there. When Ed and Ray were there, they were the head men on campus. He was just a figurehead, as he should be. I think he's a good coach. I don't think he's a great coach.
No.
I think he's a good coach. I think he's the dude that will help get you in the conversation. I don't think he's the dude to carry you over the top. You know, people always compliment or praise Flacco for the Super Bowl victory. That wasn't Flacco. Flacco didn't do that. That was the defense. That was Flacco came out hot. Yes, he did. But guess what happened after that? He went stone cold. And that defense locked them down. Defense, special teams won that Super Bowl. Not Flacco. Yes, he did come out hot, but then he went stone cold. It was sort of like Atlanta and New England when Atlanta came out super hot, and then that second half they went stone cold, and then New England just capitalized. It was a similar situation, but yeah, I think it was time for him to go. I think he was past the time for him to go. I agree. I think Lamar saved him a couple of seasons, but I'm not. I was never sad of seeing that cat go.
I had to chuckle at your New England's reference because I'm like, yeah, they went into the locker room, they pulled the tapes up, and they was like, yo, so let's look at these practice tapes because we
they did what they had to do. You know what I'm saying? And again, I don't see the Ravens making those adjustments.
No.
And I think it was his ego that did not allow things like that to happen. You know what I'm saying? He got talked about as a darling of the league. Let's be real. He maintained a franchise at or above 500 for a great number of years. They got more often than not to the playoffs. But them not being able to get over that hump, them losing first round time and time again, you can't put that all on the players. At some point, the coach has to take responsibility for that. So when the deed was done, I was fine with it. Bashadi's comments were, yeah, he may have coached here for another week. You know, I think Bashadi was tired of him. And the only thing that saved him really was Lamar. And I think Lamar went in and said, yo, I don't think we can do it with him. He got to go. And when he said it, that was the final straw. Bashadi was like, yep, he got to go. It's the drought has been too long. There's no reason we should have lost to Buffalo. No reason we should have lost to Kansas City.
None.
Come on, dog.
Let me argue the other side of that. Let me just play devil's advocate. I'll start with loyalty. Players around the league watch loyalty very closely. If I've done all that I can for this franchise, and then they treat me, soon as I get a little long in the tooth, they think that I'm not going to be as productive, they want me out of here and they send me out of here. Other guys say I'm not going there because they don't treat their players well. So that is real. I mean, this is from players people that I've met that played in the league and I've had a chance to have conversations with. They absolutely say that's real. They look at that, right? So that's on the loyalty part. It has to be a balancing act. Especially if you get hurt playing for the franchise and then they up and let you go. That ain't cool. But okay, now let's talk about Harbaugh and the decisions. You say that you can't blame it all on the players, these things that have happened. The coaches, I can only put a player in a situation. I can't make him make the catch. I can't make him miss the tackle. I can't make him get the penalty. So it is all on the player. Every last one of them plays happen on a player. A player completed or did not complete that play. So all of that is on the players. Now, if we're talking about schemes, not running the ball, passing it when you
Correct.
yes, because that's where the coaches put you in position. But the actual execution is on the players. So I got a little argument there. And I think the proof will be in the pudding. Let's see how Harbaugh does up in New York. And let's see how we go. And let's look at Tomlin too in Pittsburgh, because it's one thing to make the playoffs year after year after year, or to being a part of a franchise where, like when the Colts left us, we hadn't been to the playoffs in God knows how long. Yeah, you can say what you want to say, but I'd much rather be a middle of the road, make the playoffs every year, we have a chance, than a bottom feeder. That bottom feeding stuff is for the birds. That is absolutely not acceptable. So I think we have to, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's one of them old people sayings that, So I think it just took a while. And maybe it is time for Harbaugh, because it's been, 16 years? Something like that, right? It's time, to get some fresh ideas, a whole new regime, whatever. But I would say let's go slow and let's reserve judgment before we pull it on.
All right, slow my ass. This man, how you going to have Derrick Henry, and he's up, I think, for 2 years at certain points. I'm embarrassed to say I think my team took take a side bet or something. You don't have Derrick Henry sitting on that bench when all he needs is 200 yards to reach this goal. But you're going to let Philadelphia's man get it that year. No, we're not giving that. We're not giving another Raven an MVP. We're not doing that. New York, Vegas, all them people know. Everybody picking Henry to get 2 touchdowns. Sit Henry down. Henry either get 1 or he don't get none. What kind of bullshit is that? And then you got Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey over there looking like 2 burnt ends. And you do nothing. You finally get rid of Peters, and I'm like, yeah, here we go. We got that muffled head Humphrey still sitting over there and don't know nothing. And then I think he's hurting the talent that Wiggins does have, because Wiggins is picking up that same dumb style of play.
That mentality, yep. Yeah. So, Jackie, you asked the question. You said, do I think the games are rigged, scripted? Man, for the longest time, I did not have that notion.
I didn't either.
But now, it's questionable. It's really questionable. I don't know if McMahon and them then got their cut. But if you do know, I believe the NFL is actually listed as entertainment. It's not registered as a business. It's registered as an entertainment business. So yeah, that does put some doubt in the brother's mind, for real. Because to your point, how do you sit Henry on the freaking sidelines, on the bench, when you know this cat is a beast? To Paul's point earlier, when he said, you put the coach's responsibility to put the player in the situation. There's certain situations that players should never be in, because you could have made another decision earlier. You could have pounded the rock to run the ball down. You could have, or you should have, run instead of took the opportunity to throw on a 3rd and 1. When your offensive line is a beast and they will push them jokers back without any hesitation or anything of the like. Versus you throwing that ball.
Ricard, push him so he can get that 1 yard. Come on.
There you go. Versus you throwing that ball and trying to get that 1 yard. Now it may get tipped at the line. It may hit one of your players. There's too many factors in that you open up. So I don't know. Do you think it's scripted?
There you go.
I got you, Thomas. I want to go to Jackie first. Do you think it's scripted?
And I know we're talking about football. And conspiracy theory things.
Wow.
With listening to so many different types. Yeah. Sports. Mm-hmm. Sports as a whole. I believe it's scripted. I do.
Wow.
I would say as a Cowboy fan.
Oh Lord, see, I knew he was gonna do that.
No,
Go ahead.
I'm dead serious. I think that there is a conspiracy.
It is
against the Cowboys.
Not just now.
Oh, hear me out.
I'm listening.
Because they sued the league and they won. The Raiders sued the league and they won. If you ever watched the moments with the Cowboys in the playoffs where they lost, when they lost to Seattle, when Seattle won the Super Bowl, remember that was a brand new ball that they put in the game when Romo slipped. They're not supposed to do that. The ball's already supposed to have been warm.
Mm-hmm.
Dez Bryant catch that they said wasn't a catch.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knew was a catch. Once again, what did Green Bay do after that? What did
the same thing.
Okay. Cowboys beat both teams. They kick that field goal. They go to the Super Bowl. They were a better team than Seattle. They were a better team than Green Bay. The joke is, and this is why you got to watch the entertainment aspect of it. Like Lee said, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. That's the entertainment tagline for the Cowboys. Why? Because if you can make it go wrong, it will go wrong. Mm-hmm. Think about it. A league that, and I'll give you another good example. A league that was talking so much about players and mental health because of the situation with, the dementia and the whole nine. When Dak Prescott came out and talked about having depression after his brother committed suicide, he was mocked by ESPN. And then he was mocked by other writers. People don't talk about that. His brother literally killed himself. And he was mocked for saying, yo, I got depression too. Now, how many of these other players have that? And I bring that up to say, you watch certain plays and you watch certain players, watch how the league protects certain guys. You got to protect the kid up in Buffalo, right? You got to make sure that he doesn't get roughed up. Whoever it is, they're going to protect
Kansas City.
Mahomes, absolutely.
Kansas City.
Come on. So I do feel like a lot of this is scripted. And I feel like not only is it scripted, but you can almost tell going into certain situations, like you can't have Lamar winning everything, because if you think about if Lamar wins think about who Lamar is. Lamar represents himself. He does not have an agent.
Yes.
And the idea of him becoming the MVP, then becoming a Super Bowl champion and getting a large amount of money by doing it his way, what does that say to other people? Do you really need an agent?
Yes.
And if we want to go further to show you how scripted it is, Lee, when they conspired against Lamar in free agency and nobody decided to give him an offer compared to the Ravens, and it was proven that they were conspiring, what did the NFL Players Association do? Nothing.
Nothing.
Which would have made the players, they could have sued and won billions of dollars for the players. Well, you don't do anything if it's scripted, because part of the script is the players have to be the whipping boys. The players always have to be the whipping boys. They always get to determine the outcomes of the game. These phantom calls that happen later, overturn games out of nowhere. Who's the ref? Why is that ref, or whatever the case may be? What is the betting line at this particular time?
That part.
They can communicate with the refs while the game is going on, but you don't know what's being said. And then why aren't certain things called that we can see clear as day? It's pass interference. Okay, that's roughing the passer, right? That's a touchdown. Why is that all of a sudden out of nowhere called back? And to show you how much of the script it is, they go straight to commercial. They won't even show you the replay.
Since when did you need to make 3 steps, 3 football moves?
Come on.
Since when? When it was the Ravens and Likely?
Come on.
Never seen that before.
See?
So let me ask this question.
Yeah.
If you had $100 billion business,
yeah,
and I'm talking about each one of us, how much control would you want of that?
All of it.
All of it.
So we ain't no different than them. We're no different than them. Of course it's scripted. Of course. I'm not risking no $100 billion just so you motherfuckers can get a real true game. No. That's what I'm doing it for. No. Well, it don't make that don't make if it was your $100 billion, you wouldn't risk your $100 billion.
The only thing that I would say that's different from that now is, especially in football, may not be no different than boxing sooner than later. Them boys in them Arab countries got more money.
Yeah.
They start getting their own leagues and people start leaving.
Yep.
Then your scripting comes back to bite you.
Yep.
Because players will start telling you about, now listen, I got some kids that my son is friends with in the NFL, like Geno Stone.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Chauncey Golston.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Amani Hooker, who's my son's best friend. I've heard some things.
Oh yeah.
That happens behind the scenes that the casual fan don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm telling y'all, even some of the storylines that come out that we hear about, there's some things going on with some players that these other guys already know.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not talked about.
Think about it like this. When they do the money, when they do their negotiations, the officials are paid out of the owner's part of the bills that are being paid. Players have certain bills that they play. Owners have certain bills that they play. The officials are paid out of the owner's portion.
Right.
If you simply wanted to clean up the game, let the players pay the officials, because now it's it would be the officials' benefit to make sure everybody is fair.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as it's over here on the owners, they got to do what the owners think is right. It's that simple. No more. If you just simply change who the officials were paid by, because then they can say, we ain't paying you motherfuckers when y'all fuck up. Then, and they would have to be fair across the board because the players playing the game. Just something, just that simple. But I guarantee you, it'll never be negotiated and it'll never happen that way. Never.
All right. So I want to get into Jackie's question. Then I want to transition into more about the documentary. When is it? Where is it? How to get tickets? How do I get a press kit? Because I ain't paying for tickets. Anyhow, I want to talk about that and give us an opportunity to recap before we move into the show. So, Jackie, you said, why are they messing us up? Are you talking about the Ravens? Why are they messing with the Ravens?
No, actually, I'm talking about your show right now. We just all went out with Thomas's comment. His comment. We all started buffering.
Oh, I got you.
We couldn't hear what was being said. What's going on?
Well, you know what that is. Big business. Big business don't want their information out there in the world.
Thomas messing up stuff.
It's them Cowboys.
Yeah, it happens.
Okay, so what do you all think about the draft? What do you all think about this draft? How do you all think this class stacks up for EDC, Eric DeCosta?
I was in LA. I didn't see it, so.
Oh, you just showing off. I was in LA. Did you bring me anything from Roscoe's? I don't want to hear it. Anyhow, you know what I'm saying? I was in LA.
I mean,
Paul, what do you think about the draft?
I don't like DeCosta.
It's middle of the road.
The way he picks anyway, so no. I mean,
it's all middle of the road. It's all wait and see. You know, it ain't like we got no guarantee. The guys that they're gonna come in and do it. You hope that these receivers can catch the ball on a wide radius. Love Lamar like nobody's business, but you better not be a guy that got to get the ball right here in order to catch it from Lamar, because it ain't coming right there very often. It's gonna be close to you, around you, but it ain't gonna be right here. So we always need bigger guys that need that radius, whereas we've tended to have smaller receivers without a huge radius, and that never made sense to me.
I'm taller than most of the receivers,
you know. But so this year, at least we got the bigger guys, and I'm just hopeful that they already get that catch radius.
Okay, Jackie.
I didn't really watch the draft because I play on a pool league, so I was playing.
Okay.
But I have a second cousin in the draft.
Oh wow, cool.
I think and don't get me wrong, because like I said, I have a lot of family that I don't know, but I know his last name is Wheatley. I think his first name begins with a T.
Yeah, that really narrows it.
Something like that.
That really narrows it. I think his last name is, and I think his
last name is Wheatley. I think it's Tyreek Wheatley.
Okay. All right, that's what's up. So Teresa, you were saying you don't like
we don't get to talk about the Cowboys.
Hold on. Let me get Teresa's point, then I'll get with you. Teresa, you said you don't like Eric DeCosta?
No.
Why?
I don't like Why you think? He's not picking. Thomas told you. He's not picking what we needed. We didn't need 6 damn running backs. The running backs we had were already good. I ain't talking about Henry. That was a good pickup right there. But you had all this talent.
We did have a
You
lot of
kept
talent at running
picking
back.
the
We
same.
sure did.
You picked the same positions all the time. Secondary. That's all I want them to do one year, and they wouldn't do it. So I don't like him. He is. I get it. You know, even Ozzy probably be sitting there sometimes like, damn, son, you know, they saying I coached you. He's not doing well.
Secondary and edge. That's all we really needed.
Hamilton is the best. Hamilton is the best pick that man has had. Mm-hmm. But him, I don't know how much input Harbaugh had, but you didn't fix where we needed to be fixed. You left those positions so broken that it hurt it for the longest time. I don't care about that, man. Not one bit.
Okay, fair. So, Thomas, you said the Cowboys in their draft. What did you think about the draft and your crop this year?
Oh, we did an excellent job. We got all defense, which what we needed. Mm-hmm. And, that's really what it boils down to. And we got us a swing tackle. So we didn't need to really do too much more than focus on our weak spots. And I think that's what teams typically want from the ownership. But, hey, here's the thing about the draft that's important. A lot of it is relationships. And that's the thing that I feel like people don't pay attention to. I'll give you a good example.
Micah Parsons.
No, the kid who got drafted inside of Los Angeles, the 13th pick from the Rams. His agent and his relationship with the general manager of the Rams is why he's on that team. They got the same agent, and this kid and this general manager grew up in pretty much inside of the same community. So they just picked up a kid that they already knew. They didn't even need it. Look, their quarterback last year won the MVP. Mm-hmm. Why would you go get another quarterback? They can tell you everything else. And this is one of the things I think fans have to understand, because we're harder on black players a lot. And we say guys don't work out or whatever the case. I remember, you guys remember Vince Young, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Vince Young got cut from the Packers because he filed bankruptcy. And they said they cut him because they felt like his bankruptcy was going to disrupt the fact that he was playing on the team.
What the hell did they do with it?
Exactly. But that's the part about relationships. And we're talking about staging and all of these things. Like, you have to be a part of the entire system to have to be on the team, and then B, to have a winning team. And when you guys are talking about Harbaugh in that way, I could believe that about a lot of the good players. They didn't have a good relationship with them. Because I still don't know why Geno Stone didn't stick with you all. I thought Geno was doing a pretty good job.
He was.
And he's bounced around on a lot of teams. And I'm like, well, every time I see the kid, I turn on the tape, he's doing a good job. So why can't Geno stick? But it's about those relationships. And I wish that was talked about a lot more on our end as black folks, because I feel like a lot of the young players that go in, we start talking about their shortcomings as if it's not other players who have similar shortcomings. And a lot of times that's not why you cut off the team. You cut off the team because you don't get along with the coach, or the coach's agent and this other player have the same agent. And so they're going to get their agent. They're going to get their guy in. Mm-hmm. That's just all it is.
So Thomas, help me out. What happened with Micah? Because damn,
Micah,
we was chomping at the bit because we thought, and then we like, damn, he gone.
Well, the thing is that situation was about relationships again.
Okay.
His agent wanting to be on the negotiation, and what Jerry does is Jerry feels like, and this is another thing about relationships. Micah has a father that's always in his life. Mm-hmm. You can't pull Micah aside like you can some of these other guys and play surrogate daddy.
Yeah.
Not a daddy.
Yeah.
Right? So you can't put him over the shoulders. Micah doesn't come from where he's escaping crime or whatever. He's a middle-class kid. Mm-hmm. And his family's educated. Mm-hmm. So you can't do that with him. And it almost worked, because he did have an agreement with Micah until the agent said, wait a minute, that's my job. He's not supposed to bring you up and talk to you and do all of these other things. That's my job. I'm supposed to be able to negotiate for you.
That's right.
Right. And Jerry did not like that. And then what he did was he took it out on Micah. Right. And so that's why. And once again, Micah has a father, also has pride, very prideful young man. And he spoke his piece as he's supposed to.
As he's supposed to. Right.
Right. Because it's negotiation. But you guys, like, that's the thing about sports overall. Even like I keep going back to Lamar. Like, when they know that they're not feeding off of us, then you're not going to ever be considered the greatest or one of the greats. They're going to always knock you down, even when you're doing good. You see it on ESPN because Lamar doesn't have the same agent as these guys that are out here analyzing. The critique is higher. But when you have those relationships with similar agents, now they talk about you in glowing terms. Because Josh Allen ain't never blown the game. There's never been 5 interceptions that he threw that was his fault. It was always my receiver or his coach, right?
That's true.
It was always his coach. So to me, when you watch a lot of these, when you watch a lot of this stuff, it's just really about relationships. It's about stuff that we don't see behind the scenes. You know, like Kaepernick. I thought Kaepernick was a great American hero until I started listening to the players. And then when you hear the players behind the scenes, and you say, oh, that's what that was about. He wasn't kneeling because he was mad about what was going on.
No, he wasn't. No.
He was the team.
He lost his starting position.
But why did he lose his starting position? Because that's important.
His play skill. After that Super Bowl, he was not the same.
No, that's not what it was about. You know what it was about? He's the captain of the offense. He's sleeping with the captain of the defense's girlfriend. And then because he did that, that's what got him benched. The kid name was Alden Smith.
I remember that name.
And Alden had some emotional issues. Now, I want you guys to remember Alden was the captain of the defense. He spiraled out of control afterwards, got into a lot of trouble, got him washed out the league. But that girl, Jaleesa, that's always speaking on Kaepernick's behalf, that was Alden's girlfriend. And so the team, they got mad at Kaepernick for that. And so part of that benching aspect was because he broke the code. The code in the locker room is you don't sleep with each other's girlfriends. That's the code. Now, a lot of women who don't watch sports won't get that, but the guys know that. And so he got put on the sideline for that. And then they looked at his socks and he flippantly said what he said. It became a life of his own. It had nothing to do. He was not taking the knee because of what was happening on the sideline. He was taking a knee because he was benched because he slept with his teammate's girlfriend.
Well, I had part of it right. I said
you didn't have part. You had part of it right. You had part of it
okay.
Right.
So, look, we need to wrap so we can move. Again, please tell us when the premiere of the documentary is going to happen, where, and how do we get to it?
So the premiere is going to happen Friday, July the 24th, here in Baltimore, at Forest Park Senior High School. In order for you to get tickets, Lee, you got to, just go through the website, which is icycolorlive.net/documentary. You can get, you'll get if you're coming, I will definitely comp you a ticket. For anyone else who's coming, that's where they have to go to get their tickets.
I'm gonna pay for my ticket, bro. I was just talking trash. I gotta support those who support me. It's all good.
It's okay,
you know what I mean? But yeah, I will fly in, and I will be there that weekend. So I will be there.
Yeah, and the 25th is the 24th is the documentary. The 25th is my retirement cookout. I'm retiring after 32 years of government service. My retirement cookout. So
congratulations,
other people coming in town. And that's one of the reasons I did it. And I got other people coming in town, and so we just making a weekend out of it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be there. I'll definitely be there.
Cool. Yeah.
I'll definitely be there. Thank you all. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Again, seeing you all do what you did was definitely inspirational. You all remember us when we first started this thing, and it was just voice. There was no video at all. Paul was in my ear all the time. Man, you need to put some video to that. I'm telling you, it's going to take you to a different level. And it has. It has. I just wasn't ready at the moment, to be honest with you. But we've stuck with it through and through. And we've continued to carry the torch. Thank you for what you have done. We look forward to the next chapter, whatever that may be, from you all. Again, we will. Anybody who's interested, Baltimore, July 24th, that's a Friday at Forest Park Senior High School. Don't know why they didn't put it in Mervo, but we ain't going into that. But anyhow, we whatever. Mind your business. Mind your business. It will be there in the evening. Get your tickets once again at where? How you get the tickets again?
iccolorlive.net/documentary.
There you go. There you go. Hey, family, thank you all. Y'all have a great day. We need to move on. Y'all be good.
All right, Thomas.
All right.
Hey, y'all the best Ravens fans I ever met.
All right, T.
Peace.
Later.
So, Thomas, I was hoping that Rodney stuck around or came back because he was definitely
wanting to talk about
looking to be a big part of this segment of the show. So we're going to talk about the Supreme Court decision against the Voting Rights Act. So specifically, this lawsuit was in response to a case brought in Louisiana, and it attacked Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. This has set off a chain reaction, not only just in Louisiana, but in Alabama and Tennessee. Everyone's scrambling now to redraw their maps after Virginia had put their referendum to the people, and their people passed their referendum to allow them to redraw their maps for the midterm elections. Now, some of the problems with what's going on right now, our ballots have already been sent out to mail-in balloters and those whom are stationed overseas or live overseas that are still registered voters in the state of Louisiana again. This should never have happened. This is happening because we, the public, refuse to take elections and the news seriously. This is happening because we, the public, do not understand at all what's going on and know that all elections are local. All elections are local. You have to get out there to vote in those local elections. You got to get out there and vote for the presidential election. You cannot allow these jokers to take power from you. And the way they do that, first and foremost, is locally. So what you have is a case where the governor, your House, your Senate, whatever you have in your state, however the chambers are established in your state, are now playing with your money. And that's what they're doing. Redistricting is playing with your money. That's how schools are funded. That's how other services are funded.
Yeah.
But because we're not getting out enough to stand out there, as I've said before, when it's hot, it's cold, when it's raining, snow, whatever it is, this is allowed to happen.
Well, brother, I would say this much.
Go ahead.
And this goes back to, we've had this conversation repeatedly on the show.
Unfortunately, yes, sir, we have.
The conversation it just lends credence again to the idea of acting like it was a debate between the two candidates. And I will say this. I got people that I brought them up on the show, and I'll say their names again, but black pundits who were towing this either don't vote line, Jill Scott line, etc. They have yet to come back and admit that they were wrong. The irony of that is the Tucker Carlsons of the world, the Candace Owens of the world, they're willing to admit at least they were wrong about Trump. And what that makes me wonder about those black voices that are out there on social media platforms. Are you so hell bent on driving your people off a cliff just so you can hear that you were right? Because you can't tell me if Harris was president, this would have been the ruling by the Supreme Court. You can't tell me if Harris was president that there would have been a gutting of public education, that there would have been a gutting of the CDC, that there would have been a gutting of a lot of the government employment jobs inside of the DMV area that made up the black middle class in those areas. Or talk about these brothers and sisters who are losing their positions in the military under this whack ass Department of War label, right? Like, you can't tell me that all of this would have taken place. Now, some people would have said, well, it would have been a slow death. Well, I'm going to tell you something different from a slow death and a fast death. In a fast death, you get no chance to recover. In a slow death, you can always find an antidote and get yourself healed. And what's happening is we're always want the talking heads. They dropped the ball. And we're here. And the sad part about Louisiana is that they have the largest concentration of black folks in the country. Mississippi and Arkansas are the 2 and 3. There's no way possible that our people don't have the representation that they have. But Lee, I remember 12 Years a Slave came out. And I remember black people online was saying, man, I don't want to see no more movies about the civil rights, about slavery, about none of those things. And I said, man, we need a movie about Reconstruction. And the reason why we need a movie about Reconstruction is because we've been here before. Dum-dums. We've been here before. This is why you need to know about those times. Because in those times, what happened? In the South, there were more black politicians than white ones. Elected politicians. By the way, in the United States congressional seats, as well as in state seats. And what happened? Jim Crow laws that were passed by the Supreme Court or judgments, rulings, took that power away. And when they wiped those brothers and sisters out of seats, what ended up happening was lynchings, poll tax, black code, Jim Crow. So when I see people not understanding exactly what's taking place because they're listening to these egomaniacs who are talking about Jill Stein, where the hell is Jill Stein at, and why don't she ever have an opinion about a goddamn thing?
Well, we got a fight on our hands for real. We got again. This is about getting people out to vote. You have to. It's not over, right? This is definitely a kidney blow. I will not lie to you. It's definitely a kidney blow. But this is when the voice of the people still have to stand up. Because even though that district is rigged to go Republican, it can still be a Democratic district if people get out and vote. The morality of folks, the appeal to the morality of folks has been leaned on too much. This ain't about the moralness of what you do or don't do. This is about understanding that money and power are out for us all. It really is that simple. Money and power are out for us all. It is out to protect itself from anybody and anything that's a threat. So regardless of what you look like, regardless of where you're from, regardless of who you love, money and power wants to keep you bickering and arguing amongst one another so it can continue to be protected. Money and power will send folks out there, a la Tucker Carlson, a la Candace Owens, to be a puppet head for it, to let you know, no, just look over this way and believe in this way because this way will work for you. And as soon as you go that way, you'll find out that's another closed door as well. That's what this is. That's what we're seeing in front of us right now. And again, those closed doors can be opened, kicked in, if we go out and vote. We need to get people out energized and ready to vote. And they need to vote to save our democracy.
Shit,
Now, the question is,
save our black asses.
our black asses, our white asses, our red asses, our yellow asses. Because money and power don't care. Money and power do not care. They are on. It's only concerned with itself. And regardless of who you are, where you're from, who you love, what you look like, it is going to protect itself. They will protect themselves, and they will protect themselves by throwing out folk whom will convince you on their behalf
Yeah.
that they are for you and they're not for you. It's not for you.
Yeah.
It will never be for you. But it'll make you feel good. You talk about the dopamine now all the time. You know what I mean? People, they will send folk out to say things to you to make you feel good
Mm-hmm.
and convince you that they are not the wolf in sheep's clothing. And as soon as you turn your back, as soon as you let your guard down, they will remove that clothing and eat you alive
True.
because
But
they don't care.
what I do want to say
They are
this.
most concerned with protecting them. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
I will say this though. The other side of it too is the response.
Mm.
And I say this respectfully. We move too slow in responding.
Mm.
Our response, it's always delayed now. It's almost like we got to check with the sponsors, we got to check with the donors, we got to make sure that our pockets are right before we say 5 words. And if our
Yeah.
pockets are not right, we don't want to say 5 words. And I'll say it again. We have criticized Jesse Jackson, Reverend Sharpton, MLK, and others. The difference between those men and the leaders that we have today is that if that ruling comes down, they got at least 100,000 brothers and sisters in the streets
Ready to move.
ready to move. They would already be in Louisiana or they would already been in DC. Period. Like soon as the ruling would have came down, that was Tuesday, by Friday, Saturday, man, you would have had 100,000 black folks inside of the Capitol. You don't see that anymore. And I say that respectfully because I'm questioning us. When 7 years ago on this internet, folks were saying we are not our ancestors. Well, okay, show it. Let's show better unity. Let's show us coming together. Let's show us outthinking this system. Let's show it by coming together and also making sure that we're getting effective change. But as long as we don't know what the definition of racism is, we're going to have a problem. When we truly don't understand that white supremacy is an issue, we're going to have a problem. And as long as we got black people like Clarence Thomas, who got in the door and wants to close the door behind him so no one else gets in, we're going to have
he want to seal it up. He want to use that alien glue tape. He want airtight, sunshine tight. I got in. Fuck all the rest of y'all. I ain't worried about none of you. It's all about me and mine. I want to get into the specifics though, because again, I started and I really didn't dig. So the Supreme Court decision again, it weakened Section 2. It stated that using race as a primary factor in creating a majority minority districts to comply with the VRE Voting Rights Act can violate the 14th Amendment. Again, because of such, Louisiana, Alabama, Tennessee have postponed or are looking to postpone the midterms in order to redistrict, to draw redistricted maps.
Yeah.
Voting for the midterm. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Look back to 2013 when Shelby County versus Holder it struck down the pre-clearance formula, which was Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act, removing the requirement for certain jurisdictions to get federal approval before changing voting laws. When they say certain jurisdictions, namely in the South, to get federal requirement before changing voting laws. Now, let's understand something. Um, we can look to this and say, well, if Section 5 was still intact, this wouldn't have happened. No, it wouldn't have. Because remember, you still got Trump in the damn White House. You still have the Republicans on a warpath about anything and everything. Again, they just bought Comey up on charges yet again over damn seashells. You see this shit? They talking about seashells. Are you serious right now? Anyhow, I'm not going down that road just yet. And then you look at, I think I'm going to pronounce this right, and if I don't, I apologize. Bronovich versus the DNC in 2021, which made it more difficult to bring lawsuits under Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. So the attack against the Voting Rights Act has been consistent. It has been continual. It has been, quite frankly, seemingly a mission of Chief Justice Roberts for some time. And the fact that his court has consistently chopped away at this is a travesty, you know. But again, this redistricting plays with your money. Congressional districts affect your money.
Yeah.
How effective your Congress folk are to bring jobs and other resources to your district affect your money.
Mm-hmm.
When that person is up on the hill, they should be fighting for you in their district.
Yeah.
What does that look like now? Some folks might say, hell, it might look better. Might look better. Because now I live in a community which is part of this new district that now has a Republican head. But will the Republicans stay in power forever? Will those heads, even though you're in that district, will they turn their back to you and your community, even though it's a part of that district? Because now you are just a small portion of that district. So they can support the hell out of the district as a whole and neglect you constantly and consistently. So they are playing with your money. They're playing with potential road projects, school buildings, you name it, in your district. Because they can. Because they know that when the people speak, they lose. More often than not. It has been recorded. When the people speak, more often than not, they lose. So they are doing anything and everything to stay in power. I said earlier, power and money are all out for themselves. They don't care about you. All they want is to continue to generate power and money for themselves. You are simply a byproduct. You're simply a byproduct. Folk were on pins and needles talking trash about a stimulus check that was supposed to go out. Remember that? There was supposed to be a stimulus check from the tariffs. Never happened. There was supposed to be just a stimulus check in general. Never happened. What happened to all that conversation? It went away. Why? Because they don't care about you. They do not care about you. We got to be serious about the business at hand. We got to be serious about how and whom we give our votes to. We have to be serious about understanding that we not only need to be thinking about the now, but the later. How is my vote for you going to help me now and later.
Mm-hmm.
How will that impact me?
Mm-hmm.
Will you be looking out for my interests and your interests? Or are you simply looking out for your interests? Because we all know the grifting is going on. We see it every day.
Oh man, the grifting is
We
major.
hear about it constantly. I'm sorry, go ahead, Brother Brian.
The grifting is major. I just want to give you an analogy. There's a homicide. They're supposed to be detectives, but it's a federal homicide. The detectives are ran by Cash Patel,
Mm.
right? Then you
Was
also
he drinking or
supposed,
not drinking? I'm sorry, go ahead.
well, it's ran up under him, so it's drunk leadership, so it's going to be the Keystone Cops for the most part. Then you
True.
turn around, you're supposed to have an autopsy. Well, if the people that's in charge of the autopsy are all Republicans and they're all trying to keep power, are you really going to get a great examination of the body? And what I'm saying to the public is what's happening is them trying to rig the system so that you never find out what happens with the murder. And that's the problem. We're really suffering from a mass cover up that's happening right in front of all of our eyes. And you start playing with people's right to vote. And then you start saying, because their election is supposed to be next week. Now they're saying they're going to postpone the election. Now imagine that, postponing the election after you just was complaining about them rigging it in Virginia.
Mm.
And these are the games that they're playing in the face of the people. But I'm watching the people, and it's like we don't mind getting slapped, we don't mind getting punched, we don't mind getting kicked. We just take it. People are just taking it. And I'm not talking about that crackpot who they had running through the correspondence dinner. It didn't make sense. If you watch that video, it looked like another D-list movie on Netflix.
Did,
Terrible.
did we not just talk about this though? Rodney, I'm gonna let you get in right after this so you can say what you need to say. Okay, that's fine. Did we not just talk about this? Did we not just talk about that before it happened? I just said this whole assassination shit is played, and then all of a sudden you get another crazy gunner running through the damn correspondence dinner. Now he never even got close to Trump, but they're gonna charge him as though he was trying to assassinate Trump. How is that even possible?
He never
Who
fired.
said he
He
could
never
have been
fired
going
shot.
after one of the damn correspondents? She could have pissed him off. He could have pissed him off.
Well, he never fired a shot. And when I watched the video,
Hold
if you
on now. But so who shot the agent, the Secret Service agent?
the person that was shooting the shots was the cops, and I think it was another cop who shot the agents. But I want people to watch the video and watch the people that were supposed to be protecting you run the opposite way from the guy. First and foremost, they were
He
standing on the
wanted his
wall.
ass to die.
Then the one guy who saw him coming, who really, because he never had his gun raised, he literally could have stepped in front of him and shoulder tackled him. He knocked him on the ground without firing a shot because the kid never raised the gun. Then it's the people that's on the side that also could have grabbed him or continued to. They didn't do anything. And then you go back and watch Trump and watch the Secret Service with Trump. Trump is still sitting there. Either he was sleeping or he was eating mashed potatoes. Who knows? But you don't go grab JD Vance first and the president last. That's not how that works. It was almost like they said action. And they said action. And after they said action, it was a delayed response to the action.
Well, McMahon's wife is a part of the administration, so the WWE is all over this. I mean, their fingerprints is all over this. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's just bad. And Jamal, let's say he did get one round off. It wasn't at Trump. It wasn't at Vance. He wasn't in this section where they were at. And so again, and by the way, he just decided to go last second to be there. So that guy didn't know that they were going to be there. Those hotel rooms are typically booked out for quite some time. There needs to be an explanation on how he was able to get a room. I mean, it's just a lot of stuff. Now, I will say this. I do believe in MK Ultra. I do. So, I'm worried about some of these people, though, and the profiles and how these folks are showing up and their mental well-being and possibly being manipulated. Either which way, it is a gross distraction. as Sister Jackie is saying backstage.
Yes.
But not only is it it's a mass distraction, it's impacting policy. It's impacting governing. And if you can't get people to be equally represented, now we're back to representation with full taxation. Your turn.
So did you want to get in, Rodney? Go ahead.
Hey, I had to get in on this because I might be the only person on this call that actually has real world experience with that job. And I can tell you for a fact, there's only two ways for that to happen. A, they let it happen. Or B, they're the most incompetent people in law enforcement since Bonnie Fife, and there should be congressional hearings because all of the executive officers are in danger. That's the only two ways that can happen, and I'm talking from experience and firsthand knowledge of that job.
Oh, that's what's up. But look, man, I look at it like this. Again, he's coming in, he's strapped. To your point, don't know how the hell he got that far. He should have been knocked off way before then. But let's say he did. Them charging him with attempted assassination is an overblow, an overreach, in my opinion. Who says he was going after Trump? He never even got close to that cat. You know what I'm saying? But this is theater to throw us all off from what's going on. What's going on is gas prices are still going up, food prices are still going up. There's no end in sight to the conflict, the skirmish, the trip across the whatever the hell you want to call it in Iran, and we are paying for it. The billions of dollars that this conflict, excursion, whatever you want to call it, is costing us. No one's talking about that. No one's talking about the fact that these missiles have to be replenished. Who's paying for that? Who's getting the contracts for that? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the fact that we have yet to fully re up Ukraine as well, and Ukraine is kicking Russia's ass still without us. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the fact I said before. Even he said Trump said it. He said if they win the House, I run the huge risk of being impeached again. This is going to be a third time impeached president if the Democrats win back the House. Now, if they don't win back the Senate, that doesn't mean anything because he doesn't move. But if they win back the House, they still can impeach him for a third time. First time in history that has happened.
But I think the fear is we may not, and I know Rodney said this a lot, we may not make it to the midterms.
Right.
Like honestly, that's that part about getting punched and kicked and not really understanding that you're being attacked. When you can keep faking assassination attempts, you got to ratchet that up because that is no longer good. Then it has to be something else. So it has to go to the next level. And the fact that it's kind of like people are saying, oh man, that's staged. So now you got to do something else. What is the something else? Then you got to start attacking the people. Because you got to attack the people and then you got to blame other people for attacking the people within the people that say, yo, it's not safe for y'all to go vote. And we're just here to protect y'all. Because we don't want it to be where these shootouts at the polling places. So we're going to protect you. Because a lot of these folks got caucus. This caucus vote is going on right now. All you got to do is go gun up a caucus vote. And now you can say, oh man, it's dangerous out here to vote because it's way too many people out here that's too volatile, whatever the case may be. We lost an elected official that I feel like my state has been grossly overlooked in all of this. We lost Melissa Horton and we lost her husband, as well as John Hoffman, who got shot and his wife got shot. That was last year. That was just last year during Juneteenth when they were shot and killed inside of their home. That's not talked about a lot here. That's almost we talk about assassination attempts. They were assassinated, and the guy was dressed up as a cop. So I'm just saying, when you look at what happened inside of the Supreme Court and the impact on the South, it is important that we understand the impact on the South. That's where most of our people are at. We can talk about the biggest cities in the North, out East, out West, but most of our people are in the South. If you start taking seats away through gerrymandering with these red states that's all too willing to acquiesce with what Trump wants, that's going to hurt a lot of our people. And not only are a lot of our people there, a lot of our Black institutions, HBCUs, are where? In the South. Now you can start doing what when you got these politicians in seats? You can start defunding those institutions. The only HBCU in Indiana got defunded last year. That didn't make the news. That wasn't a national conversation. They had a brother that was sitting on NBC from Harvard talking about a lot of these schools need to shut down, need to be closed.
Yeah, I saw that the other day.
That's all. They only need one. They only need one. They only need one. And that'll be the whole conversation. And they'll be shutting our institutions down. They'll be stripping our people of their right to vote. And I'll say this again. This didn't just start under Trump, because we had the conversation about people being purged from the voters' roll in the last election. We have to wake up, and our conscience has to catch up with our bodies.
But that's why I said earlier too, bro, all elections are local. You got to get out there and vote. I don't give a damn what election it is. You got to get out there and vote. You know what I'm saying? Because all of this stuff boils back down to the local level. And you purging folks from the voter roll, that's local. That's not federal. That's local. So do not skip out on your alderman, your city council, or whatever that person is that you're voting for. You know, you need to go out there and vote for those people and let them know, just like you voted their asses in, you will vote them out. You got to be serious about this thing. You know, look, we need to wrap this up because my stomach is talking to my back right about now. It was a great show. You know, we can do a part two to this if I think it's going to be necessary for us to do a part two to this, and we definitely will do that. I think more stuff is going to hit the fan sooner rather than later. Rodney, thank you for joining. I want to thank the crew from Rant&Rave for coming on. Look forward to being at their documentary event, their private screening. Thank you all for riding with us yet again on a Saturday morning. Those whom watch us now, those whom listen and watch us later. Please follow us on YouTube. We are there. I try to post as much as I can on TikTok. They gave me a flag once upon a time for posting, what did they say? Conspiracy theory type talk. So I'll be mindful of what I post this go around. But we here. We ain't going nowhere. And as we say about this time, ain't nobody told you they love you. We do. Ain't a damn thing you can do about it. Until next week, family.